I don't think millinery should be about, oh, you can only do it if you've got all of the correct tools. I'm not going to buy big fancy equipment that I have no space for. You can't be expected to shell out thousands and thousands of pounds on new equipment when you start, and you never know if you're going to enjoy it or not. My steamer broke, so I bought a jiffy. Hello and welcome to a millinery product review video. My name is Ilona, I'm a milliner based in London, and today I will be unboxing, reviewing and evaluating a jiffy steamer. I'd like to preface this video by saying that you do not need one of these. If you have a handheld garment steamer that you are perfectly happy with, keep using that one. My small garment steamer broke literally right after I finished my blocking live stream a few Sundays ago. I could smell some burning coming from it, and it developed a crack running along the edge, and these are two definite signs that the electrical device is no longer safe to use. It served me well for exactly 2 years, and at first I was hoping to buy the exact same one from Amazon. However, this model no longer seems to be available, and all the other garment steamers are now double the price they were 2 years ago. Inflation! Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more millinery content every week. Now, let's get on with the unboxing. A very hefty owner's manual. An extra package. I think I know what this is. I ordered an extra part. Gosh, that's very, very heavy. That's not what I was expecting. I was hoping it would be a little bit lighter. That looks like this is the extender pole. And then obviously the steamer itself, which is on coasters. And the obligatory toy for the cat. The machine itself is actually not as heavy as I thought it would be, but obviously the water tank is empty. I'm not going to touch anything before reading the instructions. Let's open up the tiny package. This is the hat steamer nozzle, which I guess just fits on somehow onto here. Is it going to turn out that the hat steamer nozzle doesn't fit on there? That's going to be disappointing. Let's just double check how this works. Now, you might be wondering, why didn't I just buy the hat steamer set? And that's because this device is frightfully expensive, and I figured I'd try and get as many uses out of it as possible, which includes steaming curtains and garments. So, let's see. So this fits onto it. Also, when I ordered it with the plastic head, thinking that maybe that was going to be better. And then the people at the British supplier shop called back and said, actually, we'll happily just send you the metal one because it's better. But now I am worried that this is going to be too heavy to use for long periods of time, or I'll just get a constant arm workout. Let's see if we can figure out how the tank comes off. Oh, okay. It just lifts up. Fine. And then it unscrews, and you pour the water into this hole and put it back. Husband, we have a problem.
Okay, what's the problem? Okay.
Lift this up. Lift this up. Feel how heavy this is.
Yeah, that's quite heavy.
Right.
So this should
It should go on there, but it doesn't.
It does.
It does?
You
Why
just
couldn't
weren't
I do
aligned
it?
properly. Once this has been on and off a couple of times, and this on and off a couple of times, it will do so quite easily.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No worries.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so the hat steamer nozzle does go on. Wonderful. So I can get multiple uses out of this. Let's see if we can assemble the pole thing that goes on top of it. I think it's going to be my height. Also, just to let you know, it does come in a pink option, but I went for beige, although I would call this grey. Usually I do go for pink things, but the Jiffy pink seemed very much on the sugary sweet marshmallow candy floss pink side, and I don't like that shade of pink. I like my pinks to be a bit more peachy. You can't lift it up and carry it like maybe a Hoover or something by the top, because this just comes straight out. There's a rather big switch over here at the back, and in the instructions it expressly says don't be tempted to turn the machine on and off with your foot. So I'm not going to be doing that, always using my hand to turn the machine on and off. I almost wish it had some, like a lock system like prams do and maybe wheelbarrows and things, so that it wouldn't move around this much. Maybe I'll see if I can take the coasters off in a second. It is almost my height. This is supposed to rest in here. Okay, that holds. It's a little wobbly, but it's about as wobbly as my clothes mannequin, which is also a heavy thing at the top of a long pole, so I guess it will always be a little wobbly. Okay, actually, in the instructions it says the top should rest pointing upwards, like this. Okay. Also in big letters, do not allow the steamer to run dry. I actually think this is why my handheld steamer broke. I think it ran dry, and because I was resting a K-pleen on it, I didn't spot that it had run dry, and then it just clicked, and then there was a smell of smoke, and oh no, I'm not going to use that one again. What's good about these instructions is it gives you complete diagrams of the inside, which means that if anything ever breaks, these machines are very easy, or should be very easy to fix. Maybe don't fix it yourself, take it to the dealer you bought it from, but this means that this is a serviceable machine, and I'm hoping that it lasts me forever. And in case you're wondering, I've bought the J2000 model with the wood and metal garment steamer attachment, and then separately I bought the hat steamer attachment nozzle. And on the subject of the steamer nozzles, my first impressions are that this is a very, very thick handle. I guess it has to be thick because this steam tube is very thick. In fact, let's measure how thick that handle is. At the thinnest point, it's 12.5 centimeters around the circumference of it. There's a whole page here on steamer maintenance, which I urge you not to ignore ever. Well, that was a silly idea. How am I going to get that back down? Okay, I'm going to take the pole back off because I don't need it just yet. I would like to record my initial thoughts by steaming and blocking a fur felt beret. The water tank on the J2000 models is apparently 0.75 gallons. Who knows what on earth that means? This is a litre of filtered water, so I'm going to pour that in. Close the thing, flip it over, pop it in. Oh! Okay, I wasn't expecting that. Hopefully that doesn't just leak everywhere. I'm a little concerned with how mobile it is on the wheels. That feels a bit like a health and safety hazard. Since it already came assembled with wheels, I'm going to leave them on for this first run. I've plugged in the cord. It's about 2 meters long, so that's long enough to reach behind me where I usually work. So that's good. This is the felt that I would like to block today. It's a rather lovely burgundy peach bloom Vela fur felt. And in fact, this one is of vintage dead stock. So I'm going to turn on the steamer at the back. Let's see how long it takes to give us some steam. Well, that was fast. 37 seconds. I'm just going to pop the hood over the steam like this. I think that's right. I'm guessing that's how I'm supposed to use it. It's giving me quite a lot of steam, so I think it will actually take... Oh, it's already softened up. Okay. I wasn't ready for it to be this fast. Hang on, I'm going to have to turn it off. That's practically instant. Okay, I'm going to pop on an apron and get my beret block out. I like the fact that the jet of steam is actually quite strong, at least compared to a handheld garment steamer, because instead of all the steam escaping outwards from around the edges of the hood, I can see it penetrating through the hood and coming out here.
This is the voice of future me coming in here to say that I really struggled blocking this for the first time around for a couple of reasons. First, I hadn't figured out how to use the steamer properly yet, and secondly, this is a difficult shape to block, and it's also my first time using this block. I don't like cutting out my difficulties, as I want to point out that it's absolutely okay to fail from time to time. But I also don't want to waste your time in this video talking over exactly what went wrong. I will discuss exactly what went wrong here in an upcoming livestream, so make sure to like and subscribe to not miss that. Let's transition into my second attempt, which went much better.
These coaster wheels, whilst they're probably good if you are steaming garments or curtains or anything that's upright, when I'm trying to steam a hat, they make me very nervous that this steamer will roll off the table at any moment, so I'm going to see if I can try and take those off. I think it's now much better. It's now not going to roll off the table when I don't expect it to. Let's try and block one more felt hat today. I'll go for something a little bit easier. I'll go with a wool felt and with this little crown block over here. Let's see how that goes. It took about 15 minutes of steam in total to get this hood steamed up enough to get over the block, and then getting it over the block probably took me about half an hour, which is about how long it usually takes me to block a hat. I'm quite pleased with the experience so far. It was definitely a much better experience having the Jiffy steamer on the table next to me and without the coasters on. Over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to test the Jiffy steamer in various other situations. I'd like to try my hand at steaming some curtains, steaming some of my clothes, and using the other nozzle that it came with to do that.
It's time to put the steamer through its paces. First, some non-millinery applications. After all, it's so hideously expensive, it had better be able to multitask. I am really glad I took the wheels off earlier, as this meant I didn't have to worry about it rolling off this stool. I am propping the steamer up to be able to reach the top of the curtains. At first, I was worried about the weight of the wood and metal nozzle, but actually it didn't really bother me too much. Every now and again, I would swap hands, as good muscle workouts dictate that you should use all the muscles evenly. What did worry me, however, was how hot the black tube got. Every now and again, I would rub my leg against it, and I think if you're not careful, you could burn yourself. So for ease of use, I rate this steamer 4 out of 5. I think if I purchased it with the longer tube, it would get full marks. As for the actual task of de-wrinkling, here is a before and after comparison. It definitely took me much less time than it would if I was to iron these curtains the traditional way. I would rate the effectiveness of straightening out these voile curtains a 5 out of 5, with the caveat of not being able to do the very bottom of the curtains as I couldn't hold them tight enough. I'll just have to do that with the iron later. Next, I'll try the sofa. An odd application, I know, but I'm determined to get the most out of this jiffy. The steamer handled being in a horizontal position very well. I know that if I had tried to tilt my previous handheld steamer this much, it would just spurt out water in a jet. As I've just said, this is maybe not the most obvious application for the steamer, and my sofa is from IKEA and I can actually remove the covers and wash them in a machine, so I won't necessarily be doing this to my sofa again. But if you have items of furniture that don't have removable covers, then I think this would work great to freshen those up. Maybe this would do well on a computer office chair, as usually you can't remove the covers off of those. I rate the ease of use for furniture as 5 out of 5. The last non-millinery application I could think of was for steaming clothes. I find this particular trench coat very difficult to iron, so I figured steaming it would be the best. I have in the past used my now broken hand steamer for this, and it used to take me ages. With the Jiffy steamer, it took me less than 10 minutes. I did, however, once again have the problem of not being able to hold the edges taut enough, so the bottom of the coat is still a little wrinkly. I had the same issue with my handheld steamer, so I think the issue here is definitely just my technique and not a problem with the steamers. So for this task, it scores 5 out of 5 for both ease of use and effectiveness. Incidentally, I was also testing how long it would take to deplete the full water tank, and after 40 minutes of continuous use, the tank still had a small amount of water in it. It does say in the manual that it has an auto-off function to stop it from running when the water has run out, but it also says to not let the tank run dry. I wasn't willing to test this, just in case it didn't work and the steamer broke. Let's just assume that it does work since it says so in the manual, and move on to some hats. First, my favourite, buckram. See the video link in the top right for a comparison with how I used to use a handheld steamer for this. As for my thoughts, blocking this pillbox took me about the same amount of time as usual, and the metal steamer nozzle is actually quite comfortable to hold despite its wide handle. What I didn't like was having to rest the nozzle at the top of the metal pole. I wish there was a way to shorten that pole, but due to its construction the pieces aren't modular. My back got a little sore with having to bend over the table so much. I think this process could be improved by a taller desk and a shorter metal rod. I think I'll rate this a 4 out of 5 on ease of use. Demet, a layer of soft fabric to smooth out the rough surface of the buckram. I struggled a little bit here with the height of the steamer nozzle handle and had to position my jar and block precariously close to the table edge. I think this is a problem specific to my plaster block and jar combination, so we won't dwell on it too much. I think with a block that is propped up higher on a proper stand, this wouldn't be an issue. Considering those issues are very specific to this particular block, I would still rate the steamer a 5 out of 5 for ease of use on Demet. This is mainly due to the fact that I can tilt the nozzle without it spraying water everywhere, which I couldn't do with my previous steamer. Right, at this point I felt rather more confident with the steamer, and after a brief chat with Rachel from Labricaloose about how she uses her steamer, see her channel and her video linked below, I was ready to tackle another wool felt once again. This time I've got a plastic bag on top of the wool felt hood, and after exactly 10 minutes it was perfectly soft and hot. I had absolutely no difficulty getting the wool felt into the complex grooves of this mid-century block. After my initial round of pins, I switched to the handheld garment steamer nozzle and smoothed in the insides. This worked really well. I have had a couple of video requests from my Patreons to go through blocking with felt in much more detail, so I am planning a video on that and different types of steamers you can use. As I have already said at the beginning of this video, you do not need to use a Jiffy steamer, and hopefully that video that I am planning will prove that to you. My final thoughts. The water tank capacity, ability to interchange nozzles, and the almost instant steam at a constant high pressure are definitely worth the higher price point. Jiffy is quite a well-known brand with a good solid reputation for making long-lasting machines. It is the industry standard when it comes to hat making. Now, not only should this steamer last a lifetime, but if it breaks, it will probably be easily fixable by your local Jiffy engineer due to the availability of spare parts. That being said, this steamer is expensive and you do not need one to create amazing hats. If you have a handheld garment steamer you are satisfied with, there is no need to upgrade. Unfortunately, I couldn't find a steamer that I would recommend as an improvement to my now dead handheld steamer. Initially, when I looked for replacements, I thought the current prices for the other handheld steamers were just too expensive for what they were offering, and I didn't trust the manufacturing quality of the mid-priced upright garment steamers available on Amazon. As I use the Jiffy more and more, I am sure I will come up with extra observations, so make sure to like and subscribe to not miss those. You can also follow me on Instagram and consider supporting my channel on Patreon. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time. Bye.